Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Team Never Quit podcast. As always, thank you guys for listening and watching, and please go hit that like and subscribe button if you like to see our shows. So today we are going to talk about our recent border trip down to the Texas border. It's very eye-opening. It was really impactful to see. So I'm glad that we get to have a conversation about this.
Was that your first time down there?
That was my first time.
Ever?
Mm-hmm.
No, we went back in 2019.
You and I did.
You and I did.
Did you ever go down there before that?
No. I had been down to Harlingen, but I had never been to the actual border.
So you never went and visited the border towns growing up?
No.
Parents never, and you never took them down there?
Mm-mm.
That used to be the most fun you could have.
Cousin Renee was telling us about some trips that she had.
I went back in high school, junior high, college. We would get a chance to go down there and at those border towns, and they used to be a blast.
We never took that adventure.
It's different now. So what was your first impression when you saw it? From compared to what you've seen on TV, Hunter, tell me what were you thinking when you were going in and when you saw it?
To be honest, I thought I was going to see a little bit more people just camped out on the side of the street. We didn't really see that as much, but seeing the morale of the Border Patrol agents and seeing them kind of just kicked it into gear a little bit, seeing what they've been through, walking into that one tent camp that we went to where they hold the migrants. That was a little crazy. Did
you go into that? I didn't go in.
I looked into
Talking about
it.
when we pulled up, right?
He actually went into
you guys go into one of the facilities?
I went, yeah.
Back in the back?
Me and George went and took a peek in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did that the last time we were there.
What about the border itself?
So whenever we went over actually towards the border to get that picture, looking over, what was that, Monterrey?
No, it was Matamoros.
Matamoros.
Yes.
So
Huge difference.
Huge difference. Monterrey is actually kind of more towards the center of Mexico, or at least real further inland. And I've never been, but I hear it's a beautiful city, and it's actually a really wealthy city for the most part.
The one that
Mexico's
we saw?
Probably the most beautiful country on the planet Earth.
Monterrey. So
when it's cleaned up on the
we did not see Monterrey as a clarification. We saw Matamoros, which is a huge difference.
Yeah, Matamoros, that's where I saw all the encampments and the blue tarts. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
that's what I saw. And it was literally just right across the border and
trashy.
The
amount
There's
of
a big
trash.
fire. There's a huge fire going off in the distance. You could just see the smoke rising up.
Nasty, yeah.
Do you see that?
I mean, that's what gives me PTSD is trash.
Marcus
I can't stand
hates
it.
Trash.
I hate it. I mean, you can't even believe it. But then next to the river.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That river's supposed to be beautiful. That should be the most beautiful part of our country, both those countries, is that border town, those border towns. That river should be pristine. Both those banks should be clean. Remember when we were kids, everything was made from Mexico.
Yeah.
Everything, and then it went to Taiwan, and then it went to China, right? It used to be Mexico.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's not that way anymore. It'd probably help a lot of stuff. You're supposed to be. I mean, they're our neighbors, but what about?
Well, that y'all were saying the last time that you went, you took the boat out, and then you saw people on the other side just dumping trash in.
It was literally like a dump was made out of the banks, the river banks. And what got me is I love nature, I love wildlife and all of that, and it was disgusting to see all that trash just in our river system. There were even pigs walking across the trash, just going through it.
In the river.
It was so gross. It's something that you would think you would see in like a third world, maybe India.
You definitely
or something
wouldn't
like
see
that.
it there.
But you never would think that you would see it right on the opposite side of Texas. It was so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all from the immigrants trying to come in.
And I do remember the agents telling us the amount of trash and like what they leave behind whenever there's a big influx of people coming into a specific area.
They definitely don't care about our environment. So for all the environmentalists, if you want something to rile you up, go to the border.
I mean, if you're upset about people littering and tearing up the towns, I mean, because the towns folk don't have control over that.
Yeah.
And they're not allowed. I mean, they're good law-abiding citizens to stay out of the way, right?
Yeah.
So they're trapped. It's almost being in jail there.
Yeah.
And everyone who goes somewhere outside of your environment, you don't pay as much attention to it. And imagine them, man. I mean, first, there's nowhere to put it. Mm-hmm. And secondly, it just stacks up. And it was unbelievable. I mean, the environmentalists, you figure they'd be down there all the time cleaning that place up.
I know.
That's probably the biggest trash influx, out there
in
right now.
In America, for sure. I mean, where are the environmentalists at? Because y'all need to go down to the border and...
One of them's right here. I'm an environmentalist to the core, man. I mean, I'm telling you, it's just...
Yeah, raise hell at the border, because the amount of disgusting... I'm talking like dirty diapers, old clothes.
They can't help that. I mean, I get the...
Well, it's everything. I mean, it's plastic bottles, plastic jugs, and I mean...
Even backpacks, like things that you would think they would find valuable, they're just discarding because someone's giving it new to them when they cross the border.
What else?
Well, what was some of the most impactful things for you guys?
You got to imagine, man, what's happened there is they've streamlined human trafficking.
Yes.
They streamlined it.
That was another big thing.
There's rules it's somehow, some way, and I don't know how this happened, and I'm not blaming anybody. It's like two forces are trying to implement two things, and right in the middle of that, they've somehow systematically improved human trafficking, because the rules... I mean, those coyotes are flinging kids over the wall. They just, there's literally a video of that.
Yeah.
But then a man can show up with some random kid, a man.
Yeah.
That's obviously not his kid.
Yeah.
Not only that, we put him on a bus and ship them upstate in the middle of the country to do what? To go where? To do what with that kid?
Yeah.
And if he's under 13, you can't ID him, you can't fingerprint him, because that's against the law.
Yeah.
So then we don't have any idea who he is or where he goes. Mm-hmm. And we're talking about kids here. I'm not talking about adults. And then if they do make it back, they recycle those kids to go back over the border to bring somebody else over.
Mm-hmm. So
what you're making is an awesome criminal, if at the very least.
Yeah.
I mean, I get they want to close the border down, but the border was never closed. We have a door. Mm-hmm. It's a gate, actually, and that's where you need to use it. And if you come in between the seams like that, that's how you get lost in translation. If anybody's promoting that, then they're selling you something.
Right.
And every time they force a big group of people of 1,000 up one way, there's something else going on the other side. That's a diversion, plain and simple.
So about the kid thing, for the people that don't know this, and we just learned that, we actually learned it the last time we were there, but nobody ever talks about this. So there is a loophole that Congress put in place that says if you have a child under the age of 13 accompanying you, you have the ability, the right to just be released into the American population. So that loophole has become a thing with cartels, are basically selling off kids to accompany any adult. We don't know why they're using these kids to use this loophole, but they're coming through and the kids are not identified. So because the loophole, another loophole in this is, like Marcus said, Border Patrol is not allowed to do any biometrics on them. And they did do a pilot program where they DNA tested like a handful of them, and several had zero relation. But then some members of Congress decided that was an invasion of the child's privacy rights, and they took that off the table. Wouldn't you want to know who the child is that's coming through, and that the child is related to the adult? It seems completely out of line that a grown-ass man that is not related to this child can use that as a free pass.
And this isn't on the border guard and the patrol.
No.
This is leadership.
This is leadership.
I mean, they're busting their ass down there so hard to get this job done, and they keep switching on them every single time they go in. And that in itself, I told them they're in their war.
Right.
And they're all getting tested. And we'll get through this. And the ones that make it through this are battle hardened, and this will change everything.
What's up, everyone? So cold and flu season's coming up, and we've got the perfect money-saving solution for your prescription meds. It's called GoodRx. GoodRx is an easy-to-use app that can save you up to 80% on all prescriptions. Just go to their website or app, find your medication, and boom, you get your coupon. The best part, it works at all major pharmacies like CVS, Walgreens, and plenty of other stores. And it doesn't matter if you have insurance or not, GoodRx could still even beat your copay prices if you've got it. So I personally use GoodRx anytime I'm feeling under the weather, and I always get blown away by the savings. I share it with my friends and family, and they save so big too. Don't let flu and cold season empty your wallet. Go visit goodrx.com/TNQ for huge prescription savings. Remember, GoodRx is not insurance, but it's your key to staying healthy without breaking the bank. Go check out goodrx.com/TNQ today.
But it's a leadership thing.
Well, Border Patrol agents have to follow the laws that are given to them.
That's what I'm saying.
Just like you and your guys have to follow the laws given to you in war, the rules of engagement, and things like that. Everybody that works for public service has a set of rules that they have to go by, and for Border Patrol, it's changing constantly. Their set of rules is constantly changing. When in the beginning, and actually every time a new recruit goes through, their mission statement is to serve and protect our borders. Hunter, pull up the actual mission statement of the Border Patrol. I think it's to serve and protect the United States borders. Think about that. And like Marcus was saying, we have checkpoints. We have bridges on the Canadian side and the Mexico side. You can drive through, you can walk through, go through those. Don't risk lives crossing the river, going through these really nasty brush areas where, God knows what can happen. Go through the checkpoints. And if you're promoting that, you're promoting, it's illegal activity.
Mm-hmm. They got the mission statement right here. Protect the American people, safeguard our borders, and enhance the nation's economic prosperity. Yeah. And also, to piggyback off of what you were just saying, we heard some just of the most awful stories about even people, women trying to cross over alone, and
they get
just
raped,
attacked by these random people and just left for dead.
Yeah, there's children that are being raped, there's women that are being raped, and no one ever talks about that. And it's really awful. But if they went through the checkpoints, things like this wouldn't be happening. But
as much as y'all was complaining about the border and everything in the last two administrations, and y'all ain't down here doing nothing about it, y'all are hypocrites. Right. I'm calling you out on it right now, plain and simple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where are the people that are trying to protect the United States? And
again, I don't want to hear anybody talking down to the border guard either, because they're down there busting their ass. If you got anything bad to say about them, you don't even know what in the hell's going on. So
yeah, and they're following all of the laws that have been implemented for them to follow. So one thing about creating prosperity or economic freedom here, when we have illegals that come through just for the purpose of work, the system is so flawed right now on that. Yes, there are different visas that they can get in order to work, but they don't pay taxes. Why not immediately give them tax rights to where if they're coming to work, immediately make them a tax-paying citizen instead of all of the regular tax-paying citizens paying for them to come and work? I'm not saying take away their work, just give them a way to pay taxes.
Oh, man, if an American citizen had what they have when they come over, what we saw, like if you were sick, if you had to go to the hospital, two agents would drive you in a van by yourself to the hospital, so a doctor could check you out,
royal treatment,
all your medications and everything like that. I mean, I know soldiers that don't have that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that system's a bad thing. It is, but it should be in place for our citizens,
right?
Like our uniformed citizens. You should be first. Anybody who wears the damn uniform should be first. I don't care whether it's the mailman from the Coast Guard, the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, anything in the United States. If you wear a uniform, you're first.
Yeah.
Not last.
Absolutely. And what about what are your thoughts on the amount of other nationalities using Mexico as a funnel?
Oh, there's definitely something going on because you have the single nationalities going through the same places, which means the cartels have turned themselves into a legit moving company.
Yeah.
I mean, they're real smart. They know what they're doing, and they're doing it well. They're going to capitalize on weaknesses in our leadership because we have the weakest leadership probably we've ever had in the United States ever.
So we have over 6,000 Chinese come, not through the checkpoint, cross through the river. How is that? What are they doing here?
We'll find out eventually.
Yeah, and
I'm sure everything is going to be unfolding pretty soon.
Oh, I have to. I mean, we took a big old gulp of people for over the last few years that's coming in. They got to go. So once it settles in, you can see it when you're driving down, or you can see that there's different, everything driving around. All the cars are different, the vibe's different, everything like that, which is fine. That's what America is. I mean, it'll work its way through it, but we're definitely going through a transition for sure.
They were saying there was a less than a week-long period in this one concentrated area that had 46,000 people come in less than a week.
Think about how many people that is. That's a lot of towns in Texas don't have that kind of population.
And so you're asking a handful of agents to deal, every one of them.
Yeah.
Every one of them has to get dealt with. Like we have to lay eyes on them and
the
do
ones that we catch.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And think of those numbers.
Right.
The thing of sitting, it's a handful of people that have to process all that and how fast they go. I was telling them, I was like, hey, man, you guys are going to get bored when this is over.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you know, and those reputations for those stations, and same way we were in. So in the wars and the hard times, if you're in a particular program and you're getting your butt handed to you, man, those are what make the reputation. This is what people talk about afterwards. They're like, hey, at this station they did this, they held this tight, this person did that. That's kind of what's going through it right now.
They also talked about the lack of recruitment. Well,
yeah, I mean, why would anybody want to? I mean,
yeah, but that's an issue. Like, we need to talk to our young people and say, especially a lot of the ones that are wanting to go to the military,
I made a point. Thank you for reminding me of that. If you're younger right now and you're if you're alpha male, female, if you get time to get in the uniform, get your asses off the couch. If you're looking for something to do, if you're unsure what you're supposed to do, we need you in there.
Try Border Patrol. If you want to go to the military and you're just not sure about it, try Border Patrol. Why not? I mean, and we just went to the Rio Grande sector. Yeah. I mean, there's so much that we didn't see. We just saw, now we did see a lot. We went over a span of 300 miles in 2 days.
To 11 different stations.
Yeah, we went to 11 different stations and Marcus met with everybody down there. And the 12th station, I believe there's only 12, they actually went up to one of the stations. So we literally met with everybody.
All in the span of 2 days. Probably less than a day.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Yeah, but it was so interesting to see after we went there in 2019 that they're still dealing, it's 2 different presidents, they're still dealing with the same issues. Nothing's changed.
And they all said that they kind of feel like they're losing their purpose. There's
Oh, you can see it. I mean, they're big. You can see it in their eyes.
We all know the benefits of working out. Better sleep, improved looks, and an overall sense of well-being. But here's the catch. As you get stronger, sticking to the same workout routine leads to a plateauing progress. Luckily, that's where Fitbod comes in, your fitness ally that keeps your momentum going. Fitbod creates personalized workouts tailored to your goals, your abilities, and your gym setup.
all while helping you keep track and visualize your progress. Fitbod has been a game changer for me. Marcus and I love to stay up to date with all the new workouts every week, from everything from intense leg days that'll leave you crawling up the stairs to a full epic body workout challenges that updates daily. I love the level of personalization they offer. It's like having a dedicated trainer who understands my fitness level and goals. We are also so eager to see how you're enjoying your Fitbod workouts. Please don't forget to tag us in any of your workout pictures and share your experiences with us. Let's go inspire everybody on this incredible fitness journey. No matter where you are on your fitness journey, it's time to supercharge your workouts with Fitbod. And guess what? Right now, you can enjoy a fantastic 25% off your subscription at fitbod.me/TNQ. That's fitbod.me/TNQ.
After a while, man, you're just going through it over and over again, man, and it eventually gets to you.
Mm-hmm. They're unfortunately
Especially if you stick around.
Going through they were talking about the suicide rate is affecting them. And I mean, I feel like that's all kind of stemming from the orders that they're given.
Oh, think about that. So basically, think about what they do for a living. There's no part of that job that should make you bad enough to where you want to kill yourself.
Right.
Put those two things together. If you're border security, there's no part of that job to where it should be so stressful that you kill yourself.
Right.
That's all leadership, putting a weight on them that they're not supposed to carry,
and making them feel less than, or making them feel like that they're not needed, or
forgotten.
or that they're not good people. I mean, that you hear about Border Patrol in the news, and they talk about them like they're just trash, and they're not. That's
because the people on the news are trash that are talking about them.
True. Yeah.
I'm going to point that out too.
Very true.
I can't even turn the TV on anymore where someone's saying something nice about somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's got something foul to say about somebody, and it's getting a little ridiculous. I mean, they're leading the charge on it.
Yeah.
About had enough of them too.
That's how they get views.
Yeah. It's awful.
I mean, if you're not down in there dealing with it, then you shouldn't have something to say about it.
Or go down there and talk to them. I mean, you can go down to McAllen, Velasco, Fort Brown. They'll talk to you. The border agents they want you to hear what's going on, and they're not allowed to go on the news and talk about it.
And it's not supposed. Yeah, exactly. You got better.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
sometimes it takes good citizens to stick up for your boys.
Yeah.
And girls in the uniform. If your citizens out there and your people are getting dumped on, you need to back them up.
Yeah.
If your police are getting picked on, I mean, there is a gray area that people can live in to make our uniforms' lives miserable. And if that's happening, it's incumbent upon the citizens to step up and be like, hey, you know what? We got your back.
Yeah, we need to have their back. Their job is to protect us.
And our job is to protect them. You're like, well, that's, I don't have a guy's like, it was different. There's different kinds of protection. There's that emotional and spiritual protection that they need. If they're wearing the shields, that means they got the armor. They got the body. It's their job to protect us from physical harm. We protect them from the emotional and the spiritual. If you're not avidly freaking going out and thanking them for their service, I mean, what person wants to step up and deal with your crap? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to do that.
Yeah.
The fact that we have people that will not only do that, but identify themselves with a uniform and a badge, learn protocols, go through procedures, and then there might be a slim chance that they could get in trouble for enforcing laws that we put on ourselves. I seriously doubt. I ain't even trying to hear that. I mean, if that's the way this isn't, we didn't. Shit needs to change.
It's almost like we need to do, and I feel like this is what you did while we were down there, like mini USO type tours for our Border Patrol. I feel like that's what you were doing, giving them.
Somebody call Gary Sinise up. He's our new Bob Hope. Gary, you know what I mean? If I got to rally the troops, man, if they're down like that, then that's what we need to do.
Gary Sinise.
If you're hearing this, if you get this podcast, man, if you're hearing, next time you roll out, whatever it is you're doing, look out the window if you're driving down the road, whatever it is. You see somebody in uniform, just throw them a deuce, tell them thank you, something.
Even if it's Border Patrol or law enforcement, we have to back up all
Whichever
of
ones you see getting their ass kicked by the media,
Yeah.
If the media is picking on somebody, then go help them.
Yeah.
Especially in the uniforms I'm talking about.
Okay, so you said something really fast that's really important. Gary Sinise is our new Bob Hope.
Isn't he? How fantastic is that man, dude?
I love that. We definitely need to come up with an award.
I feel like I'm the one that can put that stamp on there.
Oh,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Okay, check.
We need an award, though, that we can present to him.
Well, yeah. Well, we need to get a bust of Bob Hope made.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like a bronze...
I think that would be pretty sweet.
Or just a whole statue, a bronzed golf cart with Bob Hope in it.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, if we want to get ridiculous with it, I feel he's earned that. He's a great man. He does a lot of good things.
I wonder if he's been down to the border. We need to call him up.
I don't know, certain men for certain things. But
what's your thought on, like, kind of separating out? Because when we were down there, I heard one of the Border Patrol agents say they feel like the military veterans have a lot of resources, like different foundations to help them take care of different things. Law enforcement even has different resources, but there's no resources for Border Patrol.
Well, we'll have to change that.
Isn't that interesting to think about, though?
Yeah, because they've been around since
1924?
I think it was... No. I saw a picture that dated at least back to 1917.
Oh, really? Look it up.
So 1886. What's that one with that boy coming off that horse? I thought that one was cool, man. That horse was in mid-stride. His freaking chest.
The pictures that they had along the hallways of all the stations. I mean, crazy.
Whatever that dude's coming off that freaking horse, man.
I guess you're right. 1924, May 28th.
Thank you.
Good for you.
I was paying attention.
You, the smart one.
I think I actually asked that when we were down in Fort Brown.
I could have sworn
I felt like she let us right into
that. You did. You trapped us.
I feel like I got baited on that one.
Well, is there anything else that you took away from going down there?
Anything? What about the camaraderie that they had?
Yeah, there's definitely an issue going on with, like, internal team trust, and like Marcus was saying, that might be something that's taught in recruiting, or there's some sort of lack of training.
Even though we are in the
uniform, there was some, but there also was not some.
Well, they said that there is a feeling of brotherhood in the tight special groups.
That always happens with us.
Yeah, but as a whole, there wasn't a lot of trust within each other.
I don't even know how. War usually does that. That's what fixes that.
Mm-hmm. Because you all have to band together.
Yeah, there's no. I mean, like if you try to hold out on something, then you'll get overrun, and then somebody else. I mean, we learned that lesson the hard way in the teams. All SF units have learned that.
Yeah.
We freaking all learned that one. I mean, if that's what they're going through, I understand it.
They don't really have the ability to go through that with each other.
Yeah. It's hard because their war is a shift every day. You know what I mean? Like your war, you were gone for months at a time.
It's constant. Yeah.
They go home.
That was another thing. It's like, okay, so you're not supposed to take the job home with you, but so with that being said, so am I supposed to bring? Now you're telling me you want me to bring my home to work though?
Yes.
So guys won't complain for that very reason, but now you're telling them, well, you know, if you don't complain, I get that. Think about that. It's like, hey, I told you not to take your work home, but then I don't want. If something goes wrong at the house, you're telling me, well, you want me to bring my home to work? That doesn't make sense either.
Right. And I didn't mean like they get to go home as like a knock on them.
No, I know.
It almost causes another kind of issue because there's that switch that you have to turn off and turn on, and to have to do it every single day instead of after a deployment. That's rough.
I wouldn't even know how you'd fix it. What would you have to do? Deployments for them? Like cycle them like we do? Like hey, you're on the job. You're not off the job, but you're not on the line for 6 months, and then you go bowling for 6 months. I don't even know how it works.
ORTAC does that. Their special forces unit actually does.
No, I know.
Like weeks at a time.
Mon podcast, vous plaît. So if you've ever jumped to speaking French or any other language, now's your chance.
I've been learning with Babbel, and you can too. Because with Babbel, you can start speaking a new language in as little as 3 weeks. But why Babbel? It's simple. Babbel delivers results. Their 10-minute little bite-sized lessons are curated by over 150 experts who really want to help you understand and engage in real-life conversations effortlessly. Picture this. You're able to confidently place your order at a restaurant, smoothly ask for directions, or engage in meaningful dialogues. Babbel equips you with all these practical skills, and that's not all. Their cutting-edge speak recognition technology really takes your pronunciation and accent to the next level. If you're ready to dive in, here's an exclusive deal just for you. Get a whopping 55% off your Babbel subscription at babbel.com/TNQ. Yep, you heard that right. That is 55% off. Just go to babbel.com/TNQ. That's BABBEL.com/TNQ. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Good. I'm talking about like all the SF groups. They're good.
Yeah.
I don't sweat
Which
them.
I didn't even know that they existed until
Which is good. You're not supposed to know that they're doing the job.
They're doing a great job. Which everybody's doing a great job, but it was very interesting to see how all the different units work, how they have all of it laid out. There's even nurses and doctors at every station, and it's very
even if it looks like chaos, the fact that they're getting that done, as streamlined it is chaos.
Yeah.
And they're making that work down there.
They're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because like you said, their bodies that you see coming in, they get those in there and out of there and process. That's their job.
Yeah.
Not to hold on to, and anything and everything that they can do. A lot of people get mad at them and get mad at us for stuff that's not even our responsibility.
Right.
So they're taking the heavies on that. And if I could tell you anything, I say, hey, when your job is done, don't worry about it. I mean, don't feel that. Don't take it home like we were just talking about. But it's hard to do, and when you're constantly living in it.
Yeah. So how do citizens support Border Patrol?
Vote.
Yeah.
I guess vote. It has to be that way.
Yeah. Well, voting
Is there anything else though?
I would think that, when you hear like a lot of shit talk on the news, why not reach out to the news station and say, I don't want to hear this shit. I don't believe in it. And if they have enough people that are watching and complaining about
Our
it.
channel.
Yeah. Boycott the channel, I guess. I don't know.
But if you turn on TV and your news anchor is constantly saying something bad about somebody, even when they're giving you the news where it's not, like you didn't have to put that in there.
Right.
There isn't an adult way of doing things.
Yeah.
I heard the Queen, God rest her soul, before she passed, she explained, she's like, there are ways to communicate people, even if you're trying to correct them in a positive way. You can do it with discipline. You don't have to make fun of them, call them names. That just leads to other stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that our media has really failed at that over the last 20 years. It's turned into...
They're terrible.
Yeah, it's turned into a childish...
Terrible.
High school...
It's unbelievable.
Picking on you game.
They're going to get theirs.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's kind of getting tested and getting their war. Eventually it's going to make it around to the people who are talking all the smack.
Yeah.
That's the way it works in high school. That's the way it works in life. It's going to work with that too. Mm-hmm. They're the only ones left.
Yeah. Well, we're not saying that all media is bad, but there is a large majority that when we watch it, it's just bitching and complaining.
Well, a lot of things that I also notice about the media is they'll leave parts out that make the story sound.
Deception.
Yeah.
Deception. The key of deception, man, and they're great at that.
Yeah.
And that is the worst thing you can do is to deceive the public. And
yeah, I wish they would always
they're masterful at that.
Just lay out all of the information that's about whatever's happening, because those little parts that they leave out, that's what creates division.
If you're pulling that out on purpose, you know what you're doing.
They know exactly what they're doing.
You hear them, they're starting to slip. You hear them talking about it now.
It's clickbait.
And I'll pray for them, man, because it's going to come down on them like they can't believe.
I remember, I think I've said this before on the podcast, but when I think I was in 4th or 5th grade. I don't remember exactly. It was when Bush Senior was running against Dukakis. Do you remember that?
Doing the tank? And the commercial where he was in the tank with that helmet on?
Yeah. And our teachers, the students were to vote. We were doing a mock vote. And the teachers gave us this one sheet, like one page, that had all of the things that each candidate believed in, or like what their policy beliefs were. And we couldn't go off of what our parents say. We were supposed to go through the list and see who we liked just based off of what each candidate believed in. And I voted for Bush. This was in elementary school. But it was so interesting to me to see just facts, not crap talking each other or anything like that. It was just facts. And I wish our media and our teachers would do that today, is just give us facts about everything, whether it's current events. Or remember when you were a kid, we had current events. We used to,
we did that too.
For school, we had to cut out a current event from the newspaper and write our own thing about it. And that was us learning not only about current events, but about journalism too, is that there was no opinion involved in it. It was just factual information.
And trust me, you'll want to. Now get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/TNQ and use the code TNQ. That's the only way to get your 20% off, is to go to joindeleteme.com/TNQ and enter that code TNQ at checkout.
We don't even find that anymore. In our business, you had 3-person integrity. Like 3 people had to sign off on something before you could even talk about it.
Well, that used to be the editor-in-chief or whatever.
Especially with the internet. Is there an internet where everything's fact checked? Is there one of those yet? Did somebody invented that?
Well, so on Instagram, it's
Twitter.
Interesting, or Twitter, they...
No, dude. Is there something legit? I was looking at the other day online about Texas. I was doing my Texas history studies, and someone said it was a 32nd state admitted into the union. I was like, no, it's wrong. I mean, there's little details. Yeah. There's little details that get stuff like that.
Well, I mean, just about your story, when you were missing, there was news stations that reported your name as killed in action. And your mom heard that.
I got it.
So, I mean, fact checking should be a thing always, but it hasn't been for a long time. But going back to fact checking on social media, it says that it's fact checking. You'll even get a little thing
on community notes.
Yeah, it'll be like
Elon's
a little
new thing.
Yeah, but it's not always true.
I've noticed that it's pretty true.
No.
When's the last time you've been on Twitter?
I don't look at the Twitter, but on Instagram I see some things, and a lot of it is like about natural medicines or
Well, because that's owned by Meta, not Elon.
You're not the Elon.
Oh, maybe that's what it is.
Elon, he's American now. Texan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Texas boy, we got him in Texas
He's
now.
an Austin boy now.
That's right.
We really wanted to go see SpaceX while we were down in Brownsville, but we didn't have time.
I need to meet up with Elon. He needs to build me a truck.
A Marcus, Texas.
Yeah,
edition.
something real nice.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, I definitely want to splice in some of the video footage from when we were down there.
We will. Mm-hmm.
And maybe we go to other border sectors other than the Rio Grande Valley, but...
Yeah, comment if you've been down to the border. If you have any thoughts on what's going down, please go comment. You can comment on YouTube.
Do you have any positive suggestions about what to do?
Solutions.
Yeah, if you have any ideas.
That's kind of what we're looking for now.
Because we're all ears. We want to be able to help. If you have any ideas, please feel free to add in. Also, by the time this comes out, it will be the anniversary of 9/11.
Which is even more reason of why we should be really concerned with protecting our borders, because the next attack isn't going to be on an airplane. It's going to come through the borders. It's going to be an inside.
That's why we're so.
Well, they're able to just bring in.
Yeah, I mean,
just
Yeah.
who knows what.
if you're wondering why we're funny about our border protectors, it's for that because of 9/11.
Well, and something that we didn't even mention, real quick. The three of us travel a lot overseas. I mean, in all over. We've traveled to Mexico, we've traveled to Central America, South America, Canada, and
Europe
across
and
the
Asia.
pond, Europe and Asia, and Africa. Every single place we've gone to, every single one, we have had to stand in line, show our passports, fill out something saying where we're staying, how long we're staying, who we're staying with, who's traveling with us. We had to have passports for our kids, even when they were itty bitty babies. We took Axe out of the country when he was 3 weeks old, and he had to have a passport. Why wouldn't we request the same treatment for our own country? And they do it in the airports, but not if you're driving through or crossing the border illegally. Why not do that? Why not want that?
I've also got kind of a story that I don't really understand, but to go with that, I was at a wedding with a friend whose family, the wife, like the bride, her family is from Greece and Albania. Her whole family tried to fly in for the wedding, and they were not allowed in because they couldn't get a visa in time or whatever it is. But I just don't understand how, I mean, they're working class citizens over there. They're good people, and they still could not come in to watch their daughter get married.
That's ridiculous, right?
Because our system is so messed up.
That doesn't even make sense when you say it out loud.
Any
It doesn't.
sense like that. But if those people would have flown to Mexico City and driven north and crossed our border, they could have been let in.
Yeah.
We would
That's
have
what I
bust them
do.
up.
So
Yeah, we'd have bust them up
it
there.
doesn't make sense. Our whole system does not make sense. And somebody in charge has to really think about that. Whoever the decision makers are, y'all have got to figure that out.
I mean, because when you complain on the news, if you work our citizens up, how do you think their reaction is going to be to when those people show up?
Pissed.
They're going to be pissed. They're going to have their guard up, and it's automatically going to go negative, which pushes people into gang. You know, if you look out through history, man, this has happened before, and you can tell what's going to go down.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen this movie before.
Yeah.
So we need to do something about it for sure.
All right.
I agree. Well, thank you guys for listening in. I know this is kind of a different topic than what we've usually done, but I feel like it's something that we really needed to get out there. If you have been to the border, or if you have not been to the border, I would highly suggest just go take a look at it, reach out to anybody, and just do your own research. See what you can find, because I promise you will not regret it. That being said, we appreciate you guys. Go comment on YouTube, and if you have any guest suggestions, please go just let us know who you'd like to see. We'd love to hear your suggestions. So with that being said, we'll see you next week.
This is the Team Never Quit podcast. So buckle up, Buttercup.